Well, I was just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. Do you do a lot of thinking? This is lesson number 44. Our thoughts are with us all the time, unless we find ways to stop them. It is said in the Yoga Vasistha, hard to say that, Vasistha, that yoga is cessation of the modifications of the mind. How do you like that? Actually, this is from the Yoga Sutras. Scratch that. Yoga Sutras. This is from the Yoga Sutras. That's what meditation is, stopping your thoughts. Here's another. Now this one is from the Yoga Vasistha. I knew something was. The world is produced from the mind alone, like the waters of a mirage. It manifests in the form of fleeting thoughts, which are as illusory as the reflections of the moon on water. Think of that. Our thoughts create our world. Our thoughts create everything. So we should be aware of what we are thinking. We talk a lot in the 52 about thinking and thought monitoring and being aware of thoughts. I like to say, no thoughts, no words, just silence. Silence. There's truth in silence. I mention in this chapter something that I studied a long time ago called the Sedona method. And I won't tell you the whole story because I tell you quite a lot about it in the chapter, and you can read the chapter. But essentially, it asks you, I mean, it's much more complex than this, but there are 3 questions that you ask of yourself to determine whether or not what you are thinking is springing from the ego or from the self. Here are the 3 questions. Is this thought about gaining control over something or someone? Am I looking for approval in this thought? Is my motivation the desire for survival? If you answer yes to any one of those, you're functioning from the ego side, not from the side of the soul or the spirit or the true self. There have been many times when I've had thoughts and I could answer yes to every single one of those. And it's quite a challenge. When you really use this method and ask these questions, you discover a lot about yourself. The ego is very clever. Even though the ego is a construction of our mind, it is very clever. Some people say that what we want to do and what a teacher wants to do is destroy the ego. Then the true self, the light, shines through all the time. I think when we're in our body, it's pretty much impossible to destroy the ego completely. So I like to say, notice when it's the ego, give it a little smile, and wave goodbye. I see who you are, ego, and I see what you're doing. One of my students at one time fashioned an image in his mind of what the ego was. He said, I see the ego as a little tiny cowboy sitting on a fence on a ranch, and he's just ready to lasso me at any time. I like that a lot. The ego hates to be laughed at. So I hope you will keep these in mind and watch what you're thinking. Your thoughts create your world. And if your thoughts are pure and your thoughts are on the higher powers within you, on the light, then you are okay. I mean, you're always okay, but you are especially okay then because you are in alignment. And be kind to yourself. Remember that we are not about judging ourselves. We are only about self-inquiry, about learning about what we're thinking, who we are, and where we fit in the world, even though love and life is always eternal. So, let me know what you think about this lesson. I really would like to know what you think. Thank you.